Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. Today, we're going over the Greater Phoenix Metropolitan Housing Statistics for the week ending November 17th. Let's see what happened. 78 days closed on market this past week, a month's supply of 5.45. Absorption rate was at 18.34. Average list price this past week, $759,961. Average sale price this past week, $594,951. And that brought the list price to sale price retention in at 97.41. Active inventory rose just a little bit to 26,095. Pending is sitting at 3811 and closed units month to date at 2552. New listings taken this past week, quite a few less than last week, down 10%. 1,878 brings days on market for active to 92 and for closed at 78. Looking at the lower left-hand side price range, this includes all the inventory that's in MLS. By price range, lets you know how many units in each category, what the days on market are. Any change, you'll see nothing negative this past week. There's no contraction in any price range. The percent of total inventory just to the left of that means that, say, for instance, in the first category, 0 to 199,000, that meant that particular price range represents 7% of the entire MLS. So that's how you would look at that and potentially benefit from it. If you have a client in any particular price range, this just whittles it down. But remember, I'm always telling you the numbers that matter are your numbers. So you do your price ranges in the markets that you do business in, and you'll even gain greater visibility and exposure from your consumers. 0 to 600,000 is 67.16% of the entire MLS. 600 to 1 million is 19.12%, and $1 million and up properties represented by 13.72%. So here's the spreadsheet. Obviously, we talk about this where everybody gets to be the expert. Why? Well, you have week over week, month over month, year over year, and same week last year. So it really gives us an opportunity, and it's like comparing anything, comparing listings, comparing properties that you're touring. This is no different. When you have the ability to compare, you're immediately the expert. You can always get different sets of numbers. You can have different interpretations of similar sets of numbers, but once you get this, it's pretty easy. So new listings taken, 1878, we're at 2,079. Look to the right. Last year, we were only at 1,761, and the year before at 1,618. So there's still more seller activity in the marketplace right now than there was last year. Looking at active inventory, 26,095, up just a hair. We had 22,516 last year, 16,000 the year before. So basically 15.9% more inventory. And the reason that you're seeing the list price the same period last year changing, when we first started representing this about 5-6 months ago, that was at 28%. And that was because that you're seeing the increase in inventory that started last year, this same period. So as that inventory grew to equal what it is today or come close to it, obviously the difference between year over year is going to shrink. 440 of that inventory is coming soon category, 19,608 single family non-distressed. We have 2,883 properties from new home construction in the MLS right now. 25,662 non-distressed. 98.3, there was a 2% change. So, I've always been talking 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. Well, we're at 1.7, so it's up over 1.5. And if you just look underneath the red box, you'll see short sales and foreclosures right now sitting at 213. These are the available properties in the MLS. Lender owned, which is bank owned or REO, is sitting at 148 and HUD at 34. Taking a look at pending, 3,811, we use this to judge, the meeting of the minds, right? That you open escrow, it goes into one of these three categories. And so this means that a seller and a buyer, at least 3,811 of them right now, have come to a mutual understanding and an agreement that they want to enter into contract. So we use this to identify whether or not there are more buyers in the marketplace or fewer. Slide your eyes to the right. Obviously, we had a good week last week, but 3,251 the year before and only 2,800 buyers in the marketplace the same week in 2023. So if you're looking at this, well, it's easy to say. There's 600 more buyers than there were last year in escrow at any one time, and there's almost 1,000 more than there was 2 years ago. Looking at closed inventory, 2,552. Last year, we were at 2,750, so we're lagging about 7.2%. That obviously should have been in a red color. Taking a look at the statistics. Now, these statistics at the bottom only represent the activity that's taken place in the last week. So in the last week, we had a 5.45% month supply. We were sitting at a median price of $450,000, down $9,995 from the prior period. Sliding your eyes over into the amber, because obviously to the left of that, there's a number missing. 442,445 was the median price back in 2023. So if you're seeing that being the median price, if you take all the inventory that's together and you pick the very middle number, it's only gone up about $7,500 versus 2 years ago. So again, this is how you look at this and you say, yes, inventory price-wise is not getting out of control because the median price, and this is what all the statistical people to pay attention to, hasn't moved that much. Looking at days on market, of course, 78 days, we're finally down into the 70s. That's where we really need to belong. And again, if we had more inventory and we had more buyers, we'd still be at a very similar number. Another thing, the list price to sale price retention for the last 3 weeks has stayed at about 97.4. That means that the average seller was discounting their property from the list price to the agreed purchase price was approximately 2.6%. So when you're building your contracts, this is ad nauseum now because I'm saying this all the time. When you're building your contract, you're packaging your buyer, before you can just put an offer in, you need to understand what the list price to sale price retention is in the neighborhood that you're putting the offer in at. And then also you need to look at the concessions tab to see how much the sellers are paying as average concession. So those are the numbers. Appreciate everybody.
All right.